it's the guys who go for the cheapest machines or the ones that have the lowest cost of acquisition. They're usually the ones who end up regretting their decision very quickly. In the end, you have to realize when you buy a helicopter, your bigger costs are going to come during the ownership and operation phase of it, not on the acquisition phase of the helicopter. So what you really should be wondering about is how many hours the machine has flown, whether it has a past history of accidents or not, how many owners does it have, because that shows you this machine has been sold multiple times or not. What was the boroscope report on the engines, because usually there's a massive cost associated with engines when you're buying pre-owned. Things like that. And a lot of times buyers will not even look into these things. I'll give you an example. I am currently selling two 109 Trekkers in the market. So I have a 2018 model. This is at 4.5 million USD. And I have a 2019 model, which is at 4 million USD. Now, most buyers, when they heard the options, they immediately wanted the 2019 model because it was 1 year younger and 500K cheaper. The smarter ones asked the additional questions about hours flown, etc., etc. And what they realized was the Trekker has only flown about 140 hours, whereas the 2019 model has flown about 1,500 hours. What that means from a cost perspective is that your major costs for part replacements and overhauls on the 2019 model would come much, much earlier than it would be on the 2018 model. Let's just take, for objective purposes, let's just take the cost of engines. If you have to go for an overhaul on a Trekker at 4,000 hours, which is what it is, and your 2019 Trekker is already flying close to 2,000 hours, your major cost of overhauling the engines, which can be up to 3 million in certain cases, will come to you in the next 10 years itself. On the 2018 model, that machine is almost brand new. So you're going to put off that cost maybe even 20 years, and in all probability, you will try and sell that machine before the cost of overhaul comes in. So even though you bought the 2019 model to save the 500K, you'll end up with a bill of $3 million much sooner than you would have if you had bought the 2018 model. So in the end, you don't even save the money that you think you do. A lot of times buyers don't even look at the support around the specific machine. This is very important for very new machines. For example, 160s. Beautiful machines, but they're newly launched in the market. So sometimes you'll see a 160 which should be at a ticket price of 17 million being offered in the pre-owned market for 14 million with only 100 hours on it. But what a lot of times people don't realize is there is a lack of support system for that machine right now. We don't have a lot of MROs for it. Finding parts for it is different. Getting trained pilots for it is different. That is why that price has been dropped in just during the initial phase where they're trying to get more buyers to buy it. Do you want to be one of those buyers who buys the machine during its initial phase, or do you want to be one of the ones who buys it during the later phase? Ironically, the same is also true of extremely old machines. Currently in the market, you can find an S76 for under $1 million. I saw a 109 Charlie for around 600K USD, if I'm not mistaken. Now, a lot of buyers will look at assets in the 2 to 3 million range and then see this option and be like, why not go for the machine that's under $1 million? Well, there's a reason why. That's because the OEM does not support these assets anymore. They're so old that if tomorrow you want to get a part replacement or you need some MRO support or servicing support, these OEMs will just look at you and be like, well, we stopped production of these assets almost 10 years ago, so we can't help you. And then you're at the mercy of whatever the MROs in the market might have a part here or a part there. And in most cases, your machine will be grounded for a lot longer than you initially would have liked it to be. When I was starting out, they gave me this note and it's always sat in my head. The problems of the machine are usually always priced in. So if you find a machine that is incredibly cheap, there's usually a problem in that, and that's why it's that price. So yeah, keep that in mind and try to avoid that mistake.